What? Wow, what a bad start. Let's go without slimy throat. Why does OBS deselect my stream? There we go. That's a bunch better. So, yeah, we're going to be doing the same thing that we did earlier this week. I fixed all the remaining issues that we noted down earlier in the week off stream, and I don't have my notes open, so let's just make like a WordPad real quick for that I can put up here, and that's a gigantic file. Apparently WordPad doesn't split things up into pages. That's interesting. Do you have a night view mode or something like that, WordPad? I don't think you do. So we're not going to be using WordPad is kind of what I'm gathering here, because this is burning my eyes really badly so far. So let's go back to using sticky notes. At least those are gray and not pure white, the surface of the sun. Okay, so we're just gonna start from scratch and see where we end up, really, is what it comes down to, I think. Yeah, so let's, we can do a standalone thing. Now, I do wonder, first and foremost, before we do anything else, I do want this on my headphones for the audio. Where's the audio? That one. It starts me at a certain resolution, because that's the resolution scale that I've set it to. It's going to bother me that this is here. I added some stuff to the main screen as well. But if I go into the settings menu now, right? That is a little bit loud. Is it loud for you guys? I don't think it's loud for you. It's just loud for me. So let me just balance this toward my voice a little more. If I go into the settings menu, it does go back to what I set it as. Okay, so in that case, we're just going to set it to that. And that works. We don't need any of that shit going on right now. Okay, first things first, it doesn't seem to be properly initializing the inventory size, I don't think, because it's supposed to. We'll get to a checkpoint and we'll see. It's still a little bit loud. Oh, it's very loud for you as well. Hold on, I will just lower the volume. That's probably better. There we go. So we'll get to a checkpoint and we'll see what the level situation looks like with. We can just skip over these. That's fine. With the inventory and other stats as well, because that should have been fixed, I think. Also, I added a button for the feedback form. Because we're really working toward a usable playtest. Okay, everything is level 1. If I go into this chest real quick and just yoink these items so I can sell them, I can level up my inventory, and that'll immediately upgrade me from 5 to 15 inventories. I want the game to start with 10. But I don't have 10. And that actually makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Because I bet, actually, if I go into save game and I just save over like this spawner tutorial thing, and I quit out, going back into save game and I load that save file, it might actually have 10. Because it's technically level. It doesn't. But leveling this up, which I can't do because I don't have the souls for it. Hold on one moment. I also need a souls counter on this screen, I think. Because obviously you want to see how much Oh, that's also an issue. That also is an issue. Okay, let's note those down. So shop should have souls counter. In shop can't navigate away from selling list or buying list actually. Which also is a bit of a problem for obvious reasons. You can still like navigate away from it with your mouse, but it should be navigable with your controller as well. So that's not great. Then again, I think, well, actually no, because I didn't even level up. Why do I have 15 inventory slots? What? How did that happen? You can navigate with the bumper buttons. So how did that happen? Because now it says it's supposed to go from 10 to 15, but I now have 20, so none of this makes sense. Okay, we got to figure this out before we do anything else. What the actual hell is going on with any of this? Because that is weird. So let's go into UI, pause menus, stats menu. I probably just have something weird hooked up to the inventory level up button. So let's go check that out. That levels up the stat for the inventory level. Uses inventory XP, inventory costs, and yeah, so the inventory size after we level up should be set to the inventory level times 5 plus 10. Because the only thing that this needs to do is actually update the level, right? So it checks whether or not we have the proper amount of souls, which it does here. It checks from this experience curve table, which is fine. If the target player experience is greater than or equal to whatever this is. If so, the player XP gets subtracted and the player level gets increased. So all that adds up to me. Oh, but even if we press the... Okay, so... That's what's going on. Okay. Even if we press this when we don't actually update it, it still runs this code. So this code just needs to run on begin play for the player character as well, which means that that just needs to be a function on the player character, I would say. Yeah, that makes the most sense, I think. So let's do that as third-person character. I have like 5 of them because I imported some assets, and they always come with their own third-person character, which is not annoying at all. Yeah, so let's just kind of take this and just yoink it in here somewhere as well. Let's do it as a function, just to keep things organized. Set inventory size from level. Inventory level. And that should be the inventory, right? So we can do this in initialize level stats as well, which is this, initialize level stats. We can set inventory from level. And we can get rid of all this. Well, actually, we still do need the inventory level there. Set inventory size from level as a function call. Now, that still doesn't quite explain why... Well, no, it does, doesn't it? Because... No, it doesn't fully... So we have set XP costs. Where do we set the... like the stats? Like the current and next stat. Because that's all being shoved into this like one text field, right? Oh, that's where we set it apparently. Good. This is a mess. This is really badly organized. So we check if we find the stats level table twice. Oh, once for what it is now, once for what it is going to be. But that all checks out, right? Because if we go into, like, it still doesn't work. Why does it still not do that? Because for this, right, if we go to, like, strength, everything at level 1, strength is 1, goes to 1.1. Piercing is 1, goes to 2. Defense is 0, goes to 1.15, apparently. I don't know. It's a weird curve. Health goes from 100 to 110. Mana goes from 100 to 110. Magic strength goes from 1 to 1.1. This is a multiplier. Well, this goes from 5 to 10, actually, so that does seem to check... Hold on, does that check out now? Because this says it goes from 5 to 10. I have 5. And now I have 20! Why does it give me 20? From 10 to 15. I don't have enough... I don't have enough experience. Let me just, like, murder one thing. Well, actually, no, I need more than that amount of experience. What we're going to do is... I'm just going to go in here to the spawn tutorial. I'm just going to drop in a XP orb. And that XP orb is going to have like 50,000. It's at 500,000. It's going to have a lot of XP. Is the basic idea. It's got 500,000 XP. Okay, so we have this. I also didn't have items in my inventory the other time, did I? What the fuck is going on with any of this? This is quite loud. That's better. So, 20? Does it now suddenly become like fucking 40? Or does it just go up to 25? It just goes up to 25. How does that make sense? The UI animations are actually pretty simple. And fairly temporary, but they're nice and they're easy to change. It's just like an animation file that I need to change at this point. How does it go from having 5? The 20 actually kind of makes sense, I think. No, it doesn't. It should be 15. But then when I level up to level 2, it goes to 20. So that does make sense. No, that does make sense. What happens if I don't do this plus 10? Because that might actually just straight up be what I need to do. Does it not initialize level stats on load? Might not. I don't know. So it has 5. I'll level up. It has 10. Okay, so the plus 10 was the thing that's messing me up, I think. Let's go to like this level, where I have 20. if I now save my game again, not really the most pressing matter right now, and I go into here, I have 20 slots. So yeah, I think that just kind of works. I could put this on a curve if I wanted to, and maybe I can. Because everything else works on this curve, right? I have this like level stats table. Where we have the all the different stats for health, magic, defense, and what they're at, like at level 1, at level 9, and at level 10. So it goes linearly between, like if we have a graph here, 1 is here, 10 is here. What it does, like 9 is here. What it does is it goes linearly between 1 and 10, and then level 10, or level 9. And on level 10 you get a little bit of an extra boost. And then from there it'll go back up to like level 19, which will be linear, and then you'll get a little bit of an extra boost at level 20, and this is what the progression for most of the stats will look like. And I have a thing here for inventory size to use. So maybe I should use that, because I don't think the inventory size is going to need to go past 50, so it can just be like this and then remain at 50 for the remainder. Can even hard code that to like cut off the level up option beyond level 10, but for now that's not important. So I probably should just use this instead. That might be easier. So because of that, then I would need to like put in a level 2 here, because I would want to have... Now the growth wouldn't make a lot of sense to start with something more than 5. That's what I'm thinking. It might be nice to start with more than 5 inventory slots. So if we start with like 10, this becomes a little weird. Because now we have 9 levels in which we gain 30... Well, no, actually that does add up, doesn't it? Because if we have 35 slots divided by 9 levels, we just get... Oh, no, that doesn't add up. We get 3.8 per level. Meaning that most of the time we're going to get 4, but sometimes we'll get 3. I think. Or maybe we'll get 4, 4, and then 5. Yeah, that actually makes more sense, I think. Then the question becomes, actually... We just need to make the difference between these divisible by 9. And then we're pretty much good to go. So what if... This is not 35, but 37 difference, because 37 divided by 9 is a round number. It's not, it's 36, I'm an idiot. No, is it? Yeah, it's 36. Holy shit. Okay. That's not... I was thinking the wrong way around. That's right, because 9 times 4 is 40 minus 4 is 36. So if we take out... what would that be? So this is... So if we start at 9... Right? We'll get there. I swear, we'll get there. If we start at 9, we have a progression of 45 minus 9 is 36 over 9 levels, which means that every level is 4 inventory slots. And then level 9 to 10 is 5 inventory slots. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that's probably just what we want to do. Now we can take the inventory size here, so... And then in XY, just the inventory level. And then the out will be the inventory size, which will just like truncate and all that kind of good stuff. I think... Oh, I do need the inventory component hooked up here. Because now they're actually sampling from the same table. Right? Let's pick up the disgusting... I've got 1,000,000 experience now. Fuck yeah. Why does it have 22.5? Why does it think I have 22.5? Going to 27, going to 30. Oh, I made a math mistake. That should... It's adding 4.5 every single level. Oh. Yeah, no, so 1 to 9 is inclusive. So it's actually... It needs to be divisible by 8, not divisible by 9. That's fine. 36 is also divisible. No, it's not. Clearly, because it's 4.5. Then we've got 16, 24, 32, or 40. And okay, so we have the choice of starting this at 5 to make 40 units difference, or going all the way down to 32, meaning we start at 13, which actually is quite a nice number to start at, because 13, right? But now the math will add up. Yeah, so now it goes from 25 to 29 to 33 to 37, 41, 45, 50, and then it just kind of stays at 50. And the inventory size will stick at 50 as well. And now if we start a new game, which for some reason clicking away and back on, something weird with the audio levels. If I go into my inventory now, we still start at 5. Why do we still start at 5? That doesn't make sense. Like, aside from the fact that... yeah, so... what it's probably doing is it's probably running the inventory constructor after this. So if we just delay this by a tick, that should solve that. No, it does not. Okay. How is that even possible? I'll tell you how. It's not. It's possible by not running that function. So it doesn't run initialize stats on begin play, which it should do anyway. And for that, we need to go into a scary blueprint, okay? So everybody, hold your horses. We're going to go into the game instance. And this is a mess of a blueprint. This should have been a C++ class, but it isn't. You think, oh, this is not that bad. Yeah, that's because I'm not in this. Yeah, this thing is a fucking monster. This is on load game. And here we have at some point, like, initialize level stats, I think. Yeah, here, initialize level stats on load. But we need to do the same thing on start new game. So Level load. Set act to transform. We possess it. I guess we can just do that at the very end here. And then this, probably, get rid of the print string. Doesn't actually need the delay tick because it was just not running at all. Hello? Please delete yourself. Or not. I don't care. There is a tidier way to bind events in Blueprint. I personally like... Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I personally like having the strings, even though they're a little bit messy, but it's like easy to follow. But you can very much just, if you want to like... I'm just going to make a rewrite note here so that I don't lose what event that is. You can very much just create event and select a function. And this also includes, I believe, all the events in your event graph that match... believe. I mean, you can create a matching event, so I'm pretty sure that it also includes those. So you can use that green note, create event, to bind things without all these red lines all over the place. I like them. Like that's the one great thing about Blueprint, is that you can visually follow along with what ties up to what. It becomes a little annoying when you have like spaghetti like this, though. Anyway, now I should have 13 inventory slots, and I do. At least, it's more than 5, so I assume it's 13. Fuck it, I know. Okay, let's give this another shot. What scalability am I on, actually? That's a fantastic question. It's on high. Might as well put that on epic. Just to... Well, let's stick at high. High is good enough. About 60 FPS. Without any like DLSS implementation, which, because we were talking about it in the Discord last night, I actually finally got my ass around to looking into implementing DLSS. It's actually really quite like straightforward to do. But I still want things to run smoothly without it, so that it runs better with it, right? Also, not everybody has a GPU capable of DLSS, and I don't even know if the Steam Deck is capable of really running like DLSS. Like, definitely not FrameGen, right? It might be able to like use the upscaling, but definitely not FrameGen. So I can't rely on that, because my goal is that it should be able to run at decent settings, which is at least everything at medium and maybe some settings at high, on a Steam Deck. There's still some Z-Fighting here. That fucking sucks. So I can't rely on just like DLSSing it up. Also, specifically, I can actually just show you. Specifically with my game, because I have this like outline post-processing effect. When the resolution, like the render resolution goes down, if I set this to balanced, you can see that the outlines become thicker because it's actually rendering everything at a lower resolution and then bumping it back up. But the DLSS upscaling happens after the post-processing. So the lines around everything become thicker as your DLSS becomes more aggressive, which is a thing. Also, FrameGen doesn't work unless it's in a packaged game, so I can't show you that. I'm not even streaming at nearly high enough frame rates to make that even slightly matter. All that said, though, we definitely want to get rid of that experience drop. Named reroutes also can help you tidy up things to a certain extent. And while we're at it, this UI stuff. That's playing is going distractedly so far, but we're doing important stuff. Maybe. I hope it's important. So yeah, for the pause menus, we have the shop. which I don't know how I'm going to fix the navigational issue, aside from just use the R and L1 keys to switch between the tabs. Which isn't ideal, but it's a way. I suppose I can programmatically like set the first button from this one to navigate specifically to something, but that seems like it's a not my issue right now, because it's all like this UI is going to be changed at some point anyway, so just needs to work good enough, for which I do need yeah, let's make both of these a little less tall. You'll note that I'm also not too worried about them being exactly the same size, because why would I? I'm just going to put in a text. Mark it down like this. And the text block itself is going to be variable, and I guess on event construct let's make a separate event for this actually. Set souls text. We do that with a set text from string, and we'll do that with an append. Souls from float. And that'll do for now. So what we do is on create shop at the very end. So we have this for each loop. We have a reference to the player. That's all we need. We set souls text. And we use the player to get experience. It gets souls, get player. The player is not a... Player is a vertical box. Okay, that is... surely we have an actual reference to like the player, right? No. Oh, player inventory. Oh, we only have a reference to its inventory. Fantastic. Okay. Sure. We'll just do it like this. It's a little bit messy, but it works. At least I think it will. And we just copy this over again. I don't really like care too much for. So on event sold and on event bought both need to have one of this. So that it updates. At least I'm not just throwing in the tick and calling it a day. Be proud of me. So we go into the shop where we see that doesn't animate in. Fair enough. But this also doesn't update. It updates when I buy things though. Just doesn't update when I sell things. Okay. And it doesn't animate in, but that's a easy to fix thing. We'll look into that in a moment. So when we sell things, we only do all this. Yeah, so we only do all this if the stack is empty. We need to do all this in either case. It probably means that we want to put it in the beginning, not at the end, but fuck if I care. Player is a vertical box is such a true statement. Can only be more true if it was a vertical capsule. I mean, the player is luckily not a UI element. So, yeah, now it also is updating this. It is showing it with decimals though, which is maybe not ideal, but like will live. This is fine. That's entirely okay. Bother to put myself to care for the fact that the navigation is a little fucked. I am going to go back to selected viewport just because it is more consistent with the audio that we can hear. It's still really loud. Why is it loud until I update my Windows volume? That's kind of weird. I'm going to blame that on Unreal Editor. Hopefully that's not the case in the actual like package builds, because that's weird. Can just convert it to an int before updating to the UI. Yeah, it also should just not ever have half an experience point, to be fair. Because when adding them, I already am like rounding them, I'm pretty sure. So there's something going wrong there anyway. But it shouldn't display the decimal, so I can either like just truncate it from the float, or I can make it into an int. Either one works. I don't really care about it too much at the moment, to be honest, so I'll just kind of like keep going. Those are the type of like miniature details that of course at some point are going to need to be fixed. So important that I even said need to be twice. But they're not really going to impact the playtest all that much, and just like general quality of life. It's just something that's a little sloppy, which is fine. Like most of this UI is likely fairly temporary anyway, the way I see it. I mean, look at the background for these inventories. They're just grey boxes, for fuck's sake. That's just a matter of changing the image though. Which is a matter of actually having an image to put there. That print string does need to not be there though, so that's print string on save. I think I know where that is, so that's easy to remove. Why are we suddenly back at 35 FPS after I click off and back on? Weren't we at just like 50 something a moment ago? Oh, that's another thing. Hold on. It's actually kind of nice because I can... No, I cannot. Enemy, attack, sphere, debug, sphere, same thing. Oh yeah, by the way, these floating enemies, they don't move anymore. And they're not going to move for the time being, because the plugin that I got for 3D navigation for flying enemies, or flying characters in general, doesn't work with level streaming. I tried my best to get that fixed, and to try like different workarounds. It just... Ooh. Not sure what's going on there. Zombie death anim interrupted by revenge attack. Prevents death. No idea what the fuck that's all about. But it's actually gonna be a problem, because unless the delegate still called out, which I don't think it would have, that means that we're not now going to be stuck on this wave. So let me... Still does the thing. Yeah, so I literally cannot kill this thing. Which is kind of fucked. Because it also doesn't take damage anymore. Let's look into that. It's probably an animation blueprint thing that I just have hooked up wrong. At which point we can also immediately look into the enemy debug thing. The debug sphere. Yeah, the death slots should take priority over attack slots. Oh! I think I know what's wrong. I think the revenge attack plays on the death slot, because I don't have a revenge slot on this dude. So that probably plays on the death. No, it plays on the attack slot. What the hell? Well, now that we're here anyway, open this notify blueprint and hook that up back there. So it still plays it in here because there's no game instance, but I won't play it actually in game. How did that happen? Because the death animation I can move this up a little bit, but that hasn't been an issue before. Oh, somehow this plays on the default slot. No. This plays at the death slots. Which makes this go kind of fucked for some reason. I don't know why. There we go. I might as well do the print string immediately as well, which is in the save slot, I think. When we press it, nope. It's in the save slot stack. There we go. And let's keep going. Yay for softlocks. Yeah, softlocks are fun. Great times. Definitely not annoying. Still don't die. Is that specifically something with the zombie? Because we did... Hold on. We did do a thing to prevent the zombie from taking knockback, because it's like supposed to be stuck to the ground. So it might be to do with that. So let's go into the applied damage interface, where we have can knockback. If true, we go to knockback. If false, but it still gets back to animation montage. And then checking if health is less than or equal to 0. Which is another thing, is it should still try to like run all this. Oh, if that is true, we just don't do anything right. Okay. It's a bit of a hacky workaround, but I guess if is dead is true, we can just on the next hit. At least that way it won't softlock us. We can run enemy defeated. View. Is it a GUI ID thing? Maybe. If it is true, we add unique. If false, still both would end up on enemy defeated. I don't really know what could be causing that. And actually, no, it does play enemy defeated. It just doesn't kill the enemy. As in, it doesn't destroy him. Right, so if we have this kill enemy. We cast to enemy and we kill. Do we run that? It did once again, I should point out, happen to overlap with him doing the revenge attack. So it feels like it's something to do with that, but I can't imagine that that is the case. What the hell, Unreal Engine? Why are you so loud? Oh, the other projectiles actually do straight up damage the enemies as well. Yeah, so it's something to do with the overlap with the revenge attack. Why would that be? Because none of this... This runs on the death slot now, right? Which happens at the very end because it needs to take priority over everything else. It should also have a revenge slot, by the way, for the revenge attack specifically, so that it overrides whatever other attack it might be doing. Because the revenge montage is just on attack, right? Yeah. It's kind of hard to debug this as well, because it needs to have those two things overlapping, which seems to be kind of difficult. But then it runs kill enemy. What does kill enemy do? Create a timer. And it drops items. And the timer will then destroy, which is just a base actor function. So... let's walk through it again. Is there any path that would prevent any of this from happening? Because both of these join back up on here, and even if we don't find that row, we like get back here. Character mesh is visible. Surely that can't be it, though. Because he doesn't become invisible through his revenge attack. And he also does do the actual like death animation. It just doesn't... I don't know. Because that's the weird part, right? We definitely do run enemy defeated, because that is It plays a death montage. We set is that to true. Plays the death particles. We do on enemy defeated broadcast. Then we create a player and a game mode reference. We add experience to the player. We round that experience up. We probably only rounded in here. We probably should make a function on the player to just add XP, to be honest. Not really relevant right now. So all that this does is play the montage. And then the montage, in turn, somewhere in here, gets to this point in the animation and runs kill enemy. Kill enemy then runs the kill enemy function, which does the actual like dropping of the items and all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't seem to be getting to this. Because of something in the revenge attack. The revenge attack is just a normal play basic attack animation, right? Yes, it is. To be fair, maybe it's a good idea to make a gameplay tag for things that are dead, to prevent other like abilities from even activating while things are in the process of dying. Does that make sense? Because we can just activation block tags, and there we can just say like status status.dead, right? And if we want to do this properly, we do that on the underlying thing. So activation blocked is, well, when things are stunned. We could just reuse stunned for that, to be honest. But there's no real harm in just also adding dead. And then when we kill something, so yeah, when we like run this, we also add gameplay tag. I think we need to do that on the ability system. Always confuses me how this works, but we can also do this with just a... Let's just do it with a gameplay effect. I think that might be a little smoother. Add loose gameplay tags. That's it, I think. So the actor will be self. And the gameplay tags will be make literal, dead. That should, in theory, prevent all of that from ever happening, like, at all. It probably won't, but we'll fucking see. Let's try again, man. For some reason it doesn't make very loud sound now, which is good. So let's start by taking these fuckers out, because they're actually like super majorly annoying. Hello. There we go. still doesn't. At least the timing for it is actually perfect to the point where it does do it consistently, but it still does it. It still does it. Why does it still do that? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop out this thing to my other monitor real quick. Which is now vertical, so this is actually a little annoying. And I'm just going to see what the animation blueprint does. So we can set you to, hold on, preview instance. This fucker is not animating at all yet, that makes sense. Didn't line up, and now he's not going to do his revenge attack as he dies, so he will just properly die. It's only in a revenge attack, man. Okay, let's take a look real quick at this play basic attack animation then. Because I don't think anything about this also this doesn't need to happen anymore. I don't think anything about this should like mess with this. It is really weird. Oh, the activation block tags here should be reset to default. So maybe that will prevent it. Again, if that just prevents it, I don't really care about what's causing it. Because whatever is causing it doesn't make sense. Whatever weird, like, bug we're seeing here, I just want the end result to work, and that's kind of all I care about, man. Ooh, that was close. That probably should have hit me. Damn it. Yeah, so now you just die easily. We're going to do this a handful of times, so just bear with me. Oh, don't kill my chair in the meantime, if at all possible. I remember when this part was running at like 35 FPS. Why are we suddenly back to 45? I mean, I don't mind it. I like 45 more than 35, don't get me wrong, but it's confusing. Maybe I should just turn off these little turret dudes. Also, why did you do that this quickly? That's kind of weird. Yeah, I'm going to... remove these two. And actually the spider as well real quick. We'll put those back where they came from in a moment. And now it does super loud audio again for some reason. I think it's just like my Windows losing it, not so much anything else. But now we don't get any distraction from anyone else, and we can just do this, which... okay. We're gonna get better at the timing. We're gonna get better at the timing. It's just, well, a matter of time. But we're gonna get there. That said, the knockback animations themselves also... ah, man, It's kind of difficult to time this properly. Is there any more convenient way to debug this? I don't think so, because it's a happenstance of timing that causes it. I don't think I can force that to happen. I guess I can give him a little bit more HP so that he dies a little bit later, like one hit later. So it always perfectly matches up. For some reason now it doesn't match up anymore. I was so consistent at it. And then I removed the other enemies so that I could hit him more consistently, which made me less consistent. So maybe having those other enemies was actually good. Look, at this point I'm kind of tempted to just assume that I fixed it and... let it just go its merry way. Because this seems insane to try to time. Because the animation of him dying is like half a second. So he needs to do his revenge attack within that half a second window for me to test this. Which is kind of insane. I feel like we should have gotten it there. I think that means we fixed it. That timing actually did feel like we should have gotten it, and I think because he was dying, he didn't do the revenge attack. I'm going to choose to believe that that is the case. And if it isn't, I'm... eventually. Yeah, I mean, exactly. If I didn't actually fix it, I'm sure that you guys will run into the exact same issue. So let's just keep going. I think it's fixed. It might not be fixed. Unreal is very loud. Let's keep going. Oh, now that these fuckers are back though, I'm gonna take them out first. Because they are actively like super annoying. Oh, I need to get rid of the kill enemy print string as well. Well, that's not a big deal for now. I'm gonna see it a lot, so I likely won't forget. The spider's AI is just... man, it's bad. I don't know why the spider specifically is so... utterly fucked. It did drop 2 items though, so I can't complain about that. But specifically the spider, for some reason, is just so screwed in the way that it moves, the way that it looks at stuff, the way that it aims. Everything about the spider is entirely messed up. Okay, so that guy was still doing his, but that might be a like ability-based thing because some things might not have. Oh, I think I know what's up. So yeah, the revenge ability should still happen when they are stunned, just not when they're dying. So I need to go through all the revenge abilities and set them to block only on the death tag. And not on the stunned tag. Can these guys actually, like, can any of these hit me at all? No. I disconnected something improperly. Hold on. I did something. I did a boo-boo. Oh, no, that does still need to be there. Hold on. Hold on. Wait for and Wait for gameplay event, and we're going to wait for something with the attack tag. And if the event is received, what we'll do is we will apply damage. And we'll apply damage to target. Avatar actor will be the damage dealer, and then fuck, how do we send through the damage? I forget. I don't think we did. I think everything was just damaging me at the same rate, to be honest with you. Which probably is something to look into as well. Yeah, so this doesn't send through anything. So for now, everything is just going to knock me back at about 100. I guess those should be variables on the... Yeah. These should just be variables. I mean, piercing damage doesn't really matter for this case, I don't think. And we can set some default values. Like the default knockback can be 100, the default base damage can be like 10. And then no piercing damage is fine. Teleport attack is first and foremost get rid of the print string. Yeah, wait for and deal damage. Fuck. That's why I did that. Okay. Wait for and deal damage. Does this now magically work again? It does, because it does it all based on names and stuff. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so you just move the fuck back over there. And we'll just set you to wait for and deal damage. And never touch that again. Okay. Little sidetrack done. Let's get back into combat again. At this pace, I highly doubt that we're actually going to make it to the end of the game so far, because, well, after we make it out of this room, the rest of the tutorial area surely can't have that many bugs. So then we get to the... Where are you? There you are. So then we get to the boss fight, which is very basic and kind of boring, but sure, it's fine. Well, that actually damaged me, so that's good. And then we get to the actual, like, dungeon, which... last time we did the path through the maze, so we'll do the other path today. Could be some issues popping up there, but I kind of doubt it, because those things I already like looked at off stream as well over the last week or so. But then again, I looked at the entire game over the last week, and somehow we still are finding issues. So don't worry, it'll probably still be broken, because that's just what I do, make things broken. I probably should also try to make the healing spell. Because I just realized that I didn't. Not having the healing spell is actually kind of a big deal. To the point where I think it might be fun to try to, like, see if it is reasonable to play the entire game without healing spells, only with potions. Because that might be a fun achievement. Like, doing an entire, like, save file without ever unlocking the healing spell. It's pretty easy, like, bull to keep track of, right? Just, like, whenever we add them to the inventory, check, is it the healing spell? If so, flip the bull in the save file. At the end of the game, just check the bull. The bull still falls. Why is that one smaller than the rest? I mean, I don't mind it, but it's noticeable. And give the achievement. That will be kind of fun. Like, encouraging challenge runs with the achievements, I think, is neat. I've been thinking a lot about achievements. I'm not going to implement them anytime soon. Let's go back and maybe level a couple of things up a little. Yeah, so if we go to the crafting area, right, we have the healing spell is 10 magic and 10 health essence. These things still are white, but we have 7 and 5. But if we go into the shop, like now we have 10 and 10. And I can sell this, and I'm going to keep the flame essence for the time being because I think they might be useful. But that will allow me to create the healing spell. I'm also thinking that these crafting recipes might also require some souls to craft as part of the ingredients. Not for the time being. For now, they're just going to be items. But like, if they also require souls, like souls are going to be in a very Dark Souls way. They're not going to be called souls in the final game, by the way. I don't know what they will be called. But they won't be called souls, but they will effectively be souls. And that's the thing that I really like about a lot of Souls games, is that the one currency functions as experience, and like in this case, maybe even crafting ingredient, but also as a currency. It does everything. And I kind of like that, because it makes you choose what you want to do with it. Instead of just farming it, like to farm it, right? Okay, that said, we have enough for 2 level ups left now. So, this is a perfect example. I bought some items to make the spell that I wanted to make, but now I can't level up 3 stats with the souls that I have left. I only have souls left for 2 level ups. So I think that makes for interesting like game design. That said, I'm definitely going to go with health and strength. But the more things I can do with those souls, the more souls also need to drop. Or at least like more things that can make souls drop. Because of course we also have the possibility of selling items. So if we just drop more items, that effectively also equates to having more souls. Speaking of more items dropping, there we go. We have a magic essence and another magic essence. Turns out, probably didn't need to buy those then. And things do now actually sell at a lower price than they buy for. So if you sell items that you then pick up moments later, you are actually missing out on stuff. So just buying your way to everything that you need might not be the most efficient path either. That is a very easy puzzle, by the way, that everybody who's played the first version of this got stuck on. Why is this green? What? Why is this? Why is that? It's loud, I know. What's making this green? Is it all the way over there, right? Sure. Disappear. I think that might be it, because there's also green. Yeah, I think it is. Huh. Okay, that's neat. We get the warp spell, which let's equip that immediately because that's kind of nice to have. That's probably going to end up in a less in your face. I accidentally opened the form. Hold on. No, oh, there we go. Because it's really in your face now, and I also have enough souls for one more level, but I don't. This is the thing, right? You can't refund levels, and I'm gonna keep it that way. I'm not gonna put in some like reset all your levels to like get back even a percentage of your souls. When you commit to a level up, you commit to that level up, and you get that stat. Because I don't feel like programming all that, to be very honest with you. It's not even going to be that difficult to program because I just have a curve that I can sample like the corresponding amount of times and like add that all up together. It's not going to be that difficult to program now that I think about it. But I still think that I'm not going to want you to be able to refund levels. Then again, it might be nice. Hold on. Something fucky is happening there. Because that thing shouldn't have respawned. Because I literally have that equipped. Ah. Well, now I have two of them. It's an infinite respawning spell. Well, it's money farming, I guess, because it is worth something. Let's check that out. It probably just doesn't have a GUID. No, it does. Oh, but it's not marked as is placed, which this one also should be marked as is placed. Yeah, so whenever an item just drops, I don't want it to be added to the list of items to keep track of, because that's wasteful. So I make this bool for is placed. So whenever I pick up an item, it checks whether or not it is a placed item. Why are you at 100% volume suddenly? That is going to be weird. It checks whether or not it is a like manually placed down item in the world. And if it is, that is when it adds it to like the save file list. There's some more world items. I can actually just world item all the way through. Because everything that is in here, by definition, is a placed down item. So I can just actually select all of them and say is placed true. Netflix, volume. Can you please fuck off? Is that better in Windows 11? I've been thinking this year, Windows 10, hello? Can you please fuck off? Windows 10 support, like there's a button behind you that I need to, well, there we go. There we go. The like software support or the security updates for Windows 10 are going to end, I think, this year, which is pretty much going to force me to upgrade to Windows 11 or to Linux. But let's be honest. Ooh, that's a weird animation. I haven't been very excited for upgrading to Windows 11. To say the very least. I don't have a lot of faith in Windows 11. Anybody here on Windows 11? By any chance? And can tell me whether or not it's been a good or a bad thing? Okay, so it does actually still hit me. Good. Because Windows 11 has been around for long enough that probably most of the problems that people have had with it are gone now, right? I imagine. Oh, this is a good one. I might actually, like, get him in one cycle. Ah, not quite. Oh, that attack also needs to be fixed. There's something weird with that attack. Okay. There's something weird with that attack, so I'm going to need to do that again. Still on 10. Yes, still here. Yeah, the red all the way over here is from that emissive material. That is a big ass fucking range, man. Holy hell. Yeah, let's look at that dude's AI a little bit, because there's something weird going on there, and I don't like it. So let's go BT asset on you. I'm an 11, it's 10 with bloated bullcrap. That's kind of why I feel like I don't need to upgrade. Because I don't really want all that AI bullcrap bloat. Just don't install the updates with Copilot. I guess that works, but like if you're never updating your OS, you're also not getting the security updates, right? So at that point, you might as well just stay on 10. Because I don't see a reason to go to 11 aside from the fact that it's not going to get any more updates. Like at this point, it's literally like updating to Windows 11 with all the AI bullshit. It kind of feels like, yeah, I'm getting security updates to be secure from everything and everyone except Microsoft. Because I feel like I'm less secure from Microsoft. Might not mind AI having tell me where to hit all of the basic functionality this time. That is fair. And I'm not going to go over to fucking Apple because fucking Apple, right? So I don't have a lot of options. So I'm going to probably just have to update to Windows 11, but I'm not happy about it. Anyway, so boss info, I think, right? Or is it just in the night boss? It's I think it's every time I hit him. Did he do the print string? Maybe. There was a print string there somewhere. I'm fairly certain. As of now, the Copilot updates are separate from security updates. Okay, so that is good at least. Because I'm very not a fan of that getting stuffed into my OS. I like GitHub Copilot, right? I have Copilot in my IDE. I like using ChatGPT. I'm not like vehemently anti-AI, but I'm like, I don't love the idea that Microsoft is just like inserting all that as bloat into an OS. On top of all of the like semi-surveillance type stuff that they've tried in the past, and now I believe it is an opt-in feature where they effectively just like regularly screenshot and store it as locked encrypted files and whatever. Hey, how about you don't do that? No. And it's opt-in now, but I know how this kind of stuff goes. A year or two from now, there's going to be an update where they change that back to not being opt-in, but being opt-out. And then like 5 years from now, the opt-out option is also going to be gone. And it's not that Microsoft isn't allowed to look at my screen. It's just like at that point, it's a matter of principle that I just don't want that in my OS. Like, go fuck yourself, right? Yeah, Windows Recall, that's the one. That is... like, just on a matter of principle, again, I think I actually take more issue with that even than the AI bloatware. I don't love the fact that Copilot is getting shoved in my face either, but the whole Windows Recall thing is... it's left a bad taste in my mouth, to say the least. Where the fuck does the print string happen here? Is it in here? Did I do a print string in a C++ class? Can't see myself doing that. Don't know why I just changed accent there. I'm so shocked that I just started talking like I don't even know what kind of accent that is. Update boss info. I mean, I'm logging a lot of stuff, which I probably don't need to do. But that wasn't... Yeah, that's just logging. That wasn't printing. That's at the... I did remove something else. I did HP percent. I was going to say, removing thick node doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense there. So yeah, that's good to remove, but that still isn't where the print string came from. Windows Recall, huge security risk in my opinion. Yeah, right? So it's nice that like other people can't hijack my PC anymore because I'm up to date with Windows like updates, security updates. But meanwhile, Microsoft is like actively screenshotting, passively actually screenshotting your system, which is fucking insane. Again, I would very much like to go to Linux, but like I don't know how well Unreal runs on Linux. Not even to mention things like DaVinci Resolve and that kind of stuff. They're unstable enough on Windows to the point where I'm like, Linux is not going to be a good time. I mean, it sounds good in theory because it's just Google Photos for your desktop. Aside from the fact that Google Photos are the photos that you actively take, right? If it's just all the screenshots you actively take, it stores those and uses AI to like categorize those. I don't have an issue with that. That's actually kind of neat. It's the fact that it passively does it, where I'm like, I don't know that I like that. And the fact that it needed to have like public outcry for it to be changed to an opt-in version as well, which again, just tells me that they're gonna try to pull it on us and change it back to being opt-out. And that's not gonna be a fun time. Anyway. Is it in here? It's somewhere in this behavior tree where we're doing some print string stuff. You can't build for Windows from Linux. That kind of sucks. There's also just like other stuff where Linux is like, I don't know. I might at some point do a dual boot where everything like entertainment wise I do on Linux and everything like work related is it this? It's this. And everything work related I still have to do on Windows. But if I'm just sitting down to like play a game, like at this point, like Steam Proton is good enough. It's the wrong save file. To where stuff runs fairly well on my Steam Deck, even if it's not like verified to work very well on Steam Deck. Aside from a couple of things, but those are more so to do with the like Steam Deck interface than with Linux specifically. So with just a Linux desktop, I'm sure that like gaming is mostly fine. Oh yeah, and then we need to look at your behavior tree. That's the next thing that we're gonna do. Let's actually just look through it first, because what it is doing, I think, is this is the teleport attack symbol. And it does this when HP is less than 40%. And then it does it every 25 seconds. But also there is one here that has one, which is enemy defense below. I said that's not the one. It's this one. So I think this one is getting cancelled. No, it's not. Because the only thing that's like aborting anything is going from aggressive to passive. So then it's something in the ability itself. Because it's supposed to like teleport around like 4 or 5 times, but it stops after one singular time. So it might be something in here like directly. But I can't imagine, because it activates the ability. It finds a location to teleport to. It waits for a gameplay event being damage enemy basic, which is actually should just be attack, I think. I assume. Let's look into that. Mesh. You have somewhere in here a animation blueprint. And there we have a bunch of montages. And that should be like teleport attack. So does this... Yeah, these are just like shortened versions of the normal attacks. Right? And the enemy damage sphere sends through a attack tag. So that is definitely an issue that it had already. So it needs to look at for attack. And then target does stuff and stuff and stuff. But that shouldn't end the ability, is what I'm getting at, right? So the only thing that should be ending the ability is if it's gone through all of these and finished the last animation. So we have teleport attack 1, teleport attack 2. And it just picks a random one each time. And it stops the animation when the ability ends. But there's nothing that should be ending this ability. Again, until the very end. But what it does is every time it does an attack... This is very hard-coded, by the way. It does an attack. And then it unbinds this event. And then it binds the next event to the next attack delegate. Then when this animation is completed, it finds the next attack position. So it does some collision stuff, and then it does some math to do a capsule trace to the let's see. What it does is it does some stuff, and then it checks that teleport location, which doesn't do anything. And then it teleports to player, where it spawns a system. It sets itself to being hidden, which it already is, but hey. Then it has a delay, it sets the actual location, it sets a rotation, it sets the collision back to what it should be. Then it does the appearing, it does another delay, then it spawns fucking something, then it delays again, sets itself to unhidden, and then it does... Oh, then it does attack 1. No, it shouldn't do attack 1. That's when it should call next attack. Okay, so that might have been the issue. See, sometimes just walking through your code... fixes things. So maybe now this attack will work. Maybe it won't. Fucking... I don't know. Oh yeah, and we also have that scene could change. Because his hand animation is fucked. Like, I don't know what the hell all that is about. But that definitely shouldn't do that. And there's little things, like the fact that I can already like do stuff during this animation. But I don't like particularly care too much about that, personally. So now you're under, not quite under 40% actually. But you're gonna be soon. There we go, that's what you're... Okay. Fair enough, you went into passive mode in the middle of an ability. Which does cancel the ability, apparently. Which also means that technically I don't think the ability ever ended. Just let him do something. Like, if I go far enough away, he should do it as well. Yeah, there we go. So... he still only does it like 2 or 3 times, and then he does a normal attack. So there's still something wrong with his AI. And I don't know what. So I'm just gonna put his behavior tree to the side and go through this fight and see... wrong save file. And see what his brain does. Fucking wrong save file. There we go. I guess I guess what might be happening is that he doesn't stick on the do ability task for the entire duration of that ability because it's waiting for a specific tag to be removed. But then it should never... Okay, I'm gonna look into that in a moment. If it does the thing that I think it does, where if it's like within a certain distance of the player, right, it just does a normal attack, which cancels out the previous ability that was happening. Yeah, so that seemed to just normally work. So if I just go to a big distance... Oh, it's on a tag cooldown. Yeah, that makes sense. It does a cooldown on a tag instead of just the task itself. Because otherwise it could do them back to back for different reasons, which actually is probably fine. And now he's in the passive state again. Okay, this fucker's just not giving me the time of day, is he? Cooldown is also pretty long. Yeah, so what happened? But I don't know what exactly happened for sure, but what happened is he went to do this. But it shouldn't. I don't know why this is a sequence, by the way. Or this. It shouldn't be able to abort this when this becomes true, because this is set to observer abort none. So it must be something to do with the doability. So wait for gameplay tag to be removed from actor. So it's waiting for a tag to be removed, and that is the attack tag. This thing doesn't have the attack tag. So what the fuck even? How does it even end? How does that even work? Because that means that this should never end. Which clearly isn't the case. Let's put in a delay until next tick real quick here. Because it might be... No. I was going to say it might be, for some reason, responding to the attack tag of like the previous ability being cancelled, but nothing is being cancelled. Aside from maybe me if I keep this up, but... I mean, he is the tutorial boss fight. So he's supposed to be a little lenient. Ideally, in the at the end of the game before the final boss fight, you fight him again, but he's got like a insanely more powerful behavior tree. With like a bunch more abilities. And then maybe at some point after I've made a bunch more abilities for him, I'll port some of those abilities over with like a longer cooldown and that kind of stuff for this fight as well. Because he is fairly basic, and he might be a little too basic still. So yeah, you just do that attack based on distance, right? So let's just make a big distance between us. Hello? At some point you're going to go to passive and I can run away from you. There we go. I also think that distance should be smaller based on what we're seeing here. So now it should start like doing that ability at some point, right? Or does... I think it needs to be like at least 90% or under health or something like that. Yeah, so it actually like does do ability and it. Wait, it does it... So that's fucked. So for some reason, it does it multiple times? Like it does it once for every ability that has ended before? What the fuck? How does that even begin to make sense? What happens if I do this on only trigger once? Does it just not trigger again after the first ability ends? Or does that fix my shit? But this will either make it worse, or this will fix it. And I really need to flip that one toggle to skip this cutscene. Because holy shit. Highly annoying to deal with. At least I can lock on during the cutscene already. Okay, it does ability ended. Okay, so now it just does ability ended once for every time he swings his sword, so that seems to have fixed the issue. I don't know what the fuck. These AI nodes are sometimes a little bit weird. But this might fix the issue? No, he still only does it twice and then he does a normal fucking attack! What's... how? How? Wait, did it say ability ended? Because I don't think it ended the ability. Did it? I didn't pay attention. This boss is gonna absolutely be the end of me. The other boss fight is actually not as buggy, I don't think. The boss fight at the end of the actual dungeon is pretty good. Still probably can use a little bit more development, I will be honest about that, but it works. It's a little clunky, but it works. Doesn't do weird shit like this, as far as I'm aware. Sure, let's just absolutely destroy you. He does end the ability instantly. Okay, so... something is ending this ability. Which might mean that he's just like skipping over some of these because it can't find a proper position, but that doesn't make sense. Let's do this find location thing. Let's put in a print string there as well, just to see if he is finding location. How many times would he be finding a location? 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, he's only doing 4 swings. So that, it might have actually like been doing it properly a couple of times there. So it's 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, and then it ends the ability when this animation completes. And not a moment sooner. So what also might be happening is that maybe we should be binding it on this. Because it might be, it shouldn't. But something might be getting fucked up with it responding immediately to the same like event dispatcher call within the same frame. That has already happened. I don't think it should. But it's worth checking out. I think. Anyway, how's everybody else doing? Better than me, I hope, because this is making me slightly miserable. Not even to mention the fact that his hands are clipping through each other, which is possibly making me more miserable. Because I'm going to have to fix that as well. This gets tedious real quick, by the way. Doing this a million times. Well, at least we cycled him through properly, which is nice. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. Yeah, that seems that seems to be working. I could absolutely murder him right now. Having some guy in your Discord server with the inventory component. Oh yeah. Yeah, so like every 25 seconds or so, he should be doing a teleport attack. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. So that was the issue. The issue is that if you call out an event dispatcher and then bind to that after calling it out, it immediately fires. If you do it in the same tick. Because that certainly seems to be the implication of what's happening here. No, because it only did it one time there as well. What the fuck? I thought I'd fixed it and then I didn't. I don't know, man. This whole ability is just fucked. Let's do away with this entire capsule trace. I feel like this capsule trace is what's fucking me. Let's just simplify this a little bit. To... We get the player's forward vector. We normalize that. We multiply it by 400. We get the actor's location and add it to that. And that's the location that we're going to go to. No capsule traces, no weird stuff. Just going to make it spawn right the fuck in front of him. And then at the very end, what we're going to do is we're going to... somewhere set actor location. I'm just going to set it back to where the ability started. Probably should just set them back to the middle of the arena, but then I would need to like keep track of that on the enemy, and I don't really want to do that right now. So, also I'm going to turn off this teleport thing because I don't think I want to keep physics and stuff like that. So yeah, we just set a new location to... Well, actually... yeah, so we don't even want to do this. What we want to do is we want to teleport to player. And that is just going to teleport there. And then it doesn't... Well, it calls next attack, but it doesn't do anything because right after it ends the ability. Well, actually, no. Because this is going to instantly end the ability. What it needs to do is... it needs to bind one more thing. I don't care for the name. On next attack is only end the ability. This should fix it, but at this point I don't fucking know. It seems to work a little bit better. The issue, though, is I don't even think that it is an AI, like, behavior tree related thing. I think it's just the ability itself that is acting, like, supremely weird. Because the AI behavior tree itself, I think, behaves as you would expect it to, for the most part. Like, that happens, yes. That is fair. It does sometimes just decide to sit the fuck down and not do anything for a while. But that is by design. I don't know why it does that though. Is it? Oh, is it? No. No, it can't be, right? It's not just that it has, like, a wrong animation as one of the... No, it's teleport attack. Teleport attack 1. And a very awkward teleport attack 2. So why does it sometimes just fucking decide? Do you get an issue where gameplay effects are triggering more than once when they should? No. I don't think I've ever had that issue, actually. Let's make sure that I'm messing with the right ability, because, yeah, teleport attack simple. Yeah, no, that's this one. Yeah, so this deals with dealing damage. Shouldn't matter, but let's move this around. So then, it finds a teleport location, right? Where it sets the channel for pawn to a new response ignore. I don't think we need to do that anymore either. Well, no, we do, because we don't want to be able to, like, walk into him as he's invisible. Check teleport location. Yeah, so instead of check teleport location, we can just immediately do teleport to player here. That's not going to change anything, but it's going to make my life a lot easier troubleshooting this. It spawns the system, it sets hidden, delays, it sets the active location. Sets the active rotation. Then it sets the collision response channel back to blocking. Well, actually, should do this later. Should do that here. None of this should be an actual issue. The only thing that I can imagine being an issue is that it's, like, reusing that, but that would be weird. Because what is... what is actually happening here, right? It is after just one or like sometimes two attacks, it gets to end ability. Because that's the only way that it breaks out of, well, no, because... But this ability doesn't even add that tag, so how can it even... It doesn't end the ability. It just loses the attack tag, which stops and does another different ability. But how does it lose that tag? Is it because it does something on end attack or whatever? Teleport attack finished. Let's get rid of all these, because none of these actually do anything anymore. I might be wrong, but it might be pretty consistently happening with this specific one. So it might be... I don't know. I'm just grasping at straws at this point. Teleport attack finished. I don't need that. Let's get rid of all that. Could there be an issue with the update frequency on the AI state? Maybe something important is getting missed. But that's the thing. It's nothing to do... I don't know what it is, clearly. But I am fairly certain that it has nothing to do with the behavior tree. Because what this task does is it checks whether or not something has ability component. If not, it immediately finishes execution. With a success of none. But our character has a valid ability system component, so like that is not the issue, and it even starts the ability. It does all the other abilities without a problem. Then it activates an ability and does it once from an array of abilities that I can give in. In this case, that's just the one ability. So it just does that one ability, and it starts it, and then it has to wait for a tag to be removed from that actor. And the tag that we're waiting for to be removed is, in this case, it's actually, the default is attack, but it might be something different on these. No, it's still just attack. So let's change this to, I think I have like an ultimate. Well, it's attack cooldown ult, but do we have like something else? Attack. I don't fucking know. Let's do the ult thing because it is the ult, and I don't know. So now we're waiting for that specific tag to be removed instead of just attack, because maybe something is just weirdly removing the attack tag separately. That's the only thing that I can think of at this point. Because this ability itself, like logically speaking, it doesn't apply and remove any tags. So even if the ability itself ends, the behavior tree should be getting stuck, but it's not. Okay, just need to drink some more water to make my throat not die. Okay, there we go. I can talk again. So what might be happening, the only thing that I can imagine is happening at this point is that an underlying ability is ending somehow. That's getting overridden by the animations of the normal like teleport animations. which means that the attack tag is getting removed, which ends the ability prematurely. Or at least it ends the... But it shouldn't even end the ability, though. It should just... I don't know. Let's try this. Activation own tags will be Alt. I don't fully understand what's happening here, but I'm fairly certain that it's nothing like weird and quirky with the behavior tree. It's something with the ability and the task that runs the ability. I'm fairly certain. Maybe I should make a behavior tree. Hold on. Before we do anything else, what I'm going to do is we're going to remove both of these. And what we're just going to do is we're going to sequence these. And you're going to wait like 15 seconds between each one. Just to see if there's something in the ability. Because now there's nothing in the behavior tree that could be interfering. There's no other abilities that could be running and interfering with it or whatever. I just want to see if it still does it now. It is something fucky with the ability itself. Because now the entire behavior tree just says, do the ability, wait 15 seconds. Do the ability, wait 15 seconds. Do the ability, wait 15 seconds. Which in and of itself actually is a semi-interesting boss fight. I just realized, because it always will teleport back to the beginning, because it's not walking. But yeah, so it's going to wait 15 seconds, and then it's going to absolutely annihilate me again. And now it seems to, at least so far, be consistently doing it the right amount of times. Because there's nothing else for it to be doing. To be fair. But it pretty consistently makes it to the end. I haven't been counting, because but I think that was less than 4 times, wasn't it? That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. No, that was 4 times. And then it does ability end it, yeah. So I think that the ability itself is pretty much good. Like, without any other things interfering with it, it does 1, 2, 3, 4. At this point, I believe that we have tried doing this enough. I actually don't necessarily think that is a harder fight, because he is just standing still for 15 seconds after every single time. So you just dodge the hell out of the way, and then you get to wheel at him for 15 seconds. And he doesn't have a mechanic in that version of it where he restores defense either. So the moment you get through his defense, you can start absolutely annihilating him. But it might be a fun version of the fight to do. Something where he is more passive. But he does that attack a lot more. That might be interesting to, like, explore. Because at least here you need, like, a certain amount of timing to do the dodging and then attacking, right? I'm not saying that this is a particularly, like, difficult or dynamic fight, because clearly it isn't. Okay. Let's say that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And it goes back to where we came from. Then we just kind of wait, don't we? 25 seconds until he can do it again. Probably should have cooled that, done that attack cooldown a little lower for this testing as well, but... Oh well, what do you know? Oh yeah, go sit down, why don't you? Yeah, lazy son of a bitch. Shouldn't have said that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I think it was just that his attack tag was getting removed. Weirdly and prematurely. For like another ability in the background ending or whatever. So that's probably... let's set this... distance greater than like... Well, 500 isn't that much. Let's make this 350, maybe. And then the attack cooldown will set down to like 15. For just generally a little bit more difficulty. It's a difficult attack to dodge, by the way. I'm 1000% aware of that. And it's supposed to be. Hold on one moment, because I think... Yeah, so if it's less than 350, it does one of these, and if it is more than 350, it'll do this. Isn't it supposed to... Didn't I just change this to 50? Oh, well. 13, what? No, 50. So maybe there should be a little bit of a grace period in there where he doesn't teleport to you. But I think that... Yeah, so 500 probably is good. And he only starts doing that from 70% health. So you have all the opportunity to run around and hide during the first third or so of the fight. Yeah, this also probably should fix that, I feel. That this doesn't feel like I should be able to do this, right? I don't think that this is a good thing. I think that this is pretty fucking broken. Is as fun as it is, don't get me wrong, maybe don't start the boss fight with him already. He is freaking the fuck out. Yeah, that's pretty easy though. I still want to make a like level sequence actor that does this automatically. But for now, we can just do this manually, that's fine. With just adding like an event track somewhere. At the very start, we add an event. Get player character. Get player controller. We disable inputs. And then at the very end, we just do the same, but we enable input. But having to do this with every sequence in the game is kind of fucked. So I would very much like to automate this, if possible. And I've tried, but it didn't work. So I might need to do that in C++ for some reason. I don't know what reason that would be. But I haven't tried that yet. Doesn't work is the only issue. Did I do the wrong... No, I didn't do the wrong thing. Why doesn't it work? What? Wait, what? Access non trying to get player character. What the fuck? Why can I not get player character? Um, I mean, it's not that big a deal because the player character, I can just add it to. I can just add an event track to it directly. I think. Yeah. Right, and then when I do that, I can get third something. Should be able to get something. Let's remove these. Just add entirely new ones here real quick. There we go. That'll work as an alternative, just doing the events on the third-person character itself. If that's the way we need to do it, that's the way we'll do it. It's not that much more difficult. But that might have been why it didn't work before as well through the automated. No, because it just didn't run that function to begin with, I don't think. Let's see if this works. It also does do weird stuff when you have sequencer open and try to run it. So let's close that. Nope. Still does it. And it doesn't even error me the fuck out now. So I don't even know what's going on. I think it is unbelievable that Unreal does have this disable movement and look inputs, which automatically disable movement and looking inputs, as far as I understand, on your character, like just the possessed pawn for the player character or the player controller. It doesn't have a general blanket, hey, just don't allow any fucking input at all. Because that seems like it's a lot more useful than any of this, but this should work though. Why doesn't it? It doesn't work because I don't know. It's got to have something to do with the level loading. Like the level loadings, because this happens on the same tick. So if we just do it one frame later, maybe that fixes it. Because the level loading also disables your input, and then once the level is loaded, it moves you into the level and then re-enables your input. So what might be happening is that it's getting input enabled on the same tick that this thing starts playing, which tries to disable it at the moment that it's getting re-enabled. So if we just do that one frame later, there's a very small chance that somebody mashing the button has a one frame window to like move ahead and do one attack. Nope, that doesn't fucking fix anything. Okay. Pause game. No, pause game pauses the entire game. So that's definitely like not a good idea. What if you mapped an input context to override all of your map buttons with an empty input event? And then at the end, map them all back to the normal inputs. I don't think it works like that, actually. If it does, that's not a bad idea, but I don't think it works like that, because if you... because you can very much have multiple... Can I delete this one finally? I can. You can very much have multiple different like mappings, right? And I don't know if it overrides them. I don't think it does. I think it just fires both, because I've had that issue where, like, in my specials and my magic mappings, I use the top button, and it's supposed to only fire in combination with a quarter like special modifier action. But I've actually had some trouble where it was firing both the like base one from my base mappings, which gets applied elsewhere apparently. I think in the game instance or something. And even with this priority, like it still was firing them both, so I don't think that'll override it. I think it'll just try to fire both. I'm just confused as to why it's not disabling my input. Can I just walk around during the cutscene? That's the real question. Because I can attack, but can I, like, if I just... I can straight up just walk around. What the fuck? That didn't used to be the case. What happened? It is firing these events, right? I'm not losing my mind on that. Again, I want to very much close these down before we do anything else. Yeah, I had the consume input thing, but it's kind of a mess. Because it consumes the input for the action and not for the individual buttons, I believe. Which is very dumb. But that's to make it prevent from, like, firing the same action twice, not firing two different actions with the same button, I believe. Oh, I didn't try. And I didn't look because I was bitching about stuff. As usual. Disable input. No, you didn't. I'm actually going to just, like, save everything, close out of Unreal, and recompile. Just to see if the engine is bugging out. Because at this point, I have to imagine that the engine is just bugging out. The very last option that I could do is I could just, like, actively unpossess and repossess the character. But that seems like a much worse idea. So probably don't do that if I don't need to. Well, it's almost weekend time where I can record some more videos, which is fun. I haven't recorded any videos in a while. Too busy with this and work and like being sick and having holidays and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to like sitting down and recording like 4 videos over the weekend. Okay. Sometimes you just need to let Unreal know you mean business by closing it down and like threatening to murder it. And sometimes that don't do shit. Can you try set cinematic mode? What? The fuck do you even mean? It might be something to do with the fact that I made these custom level actors. Yeah, that might actually be... Because I tried to do this like automated, right? At some point, as you can clearly see. Because I also wanted to like automatically remove the HUD. So that might be the thing that's fucking me up actually. Let's just do a like level sequence actor. It's player controller node, and if the player is in cinematic mode, it should prevent any inputs. Okay, so that is also a good... But that's the same thing, right? I mean, I'm going to try it because it's easier to do and it doesn't require me to... Oh, affect HUD as well. Hold on. Maybe that actually is exactly what I need. In cinematic mode. Hides the player. I don't want it to hide the player. So far this seems like it's only going to affect these two things. And not the entire input, but we'll see. I am open to being proven wrong about that. I also do think that I probably should just use the normal level sequence actor instead of the child actor that I made of it. Oh, hold on. Yeah, no, doesn't make a difference. So let's just use the level sequence actor instead. We'll copy this over to this. Then I don't think I need to do anything here. So we can just delete this. Then we open it up in the level blueprint because we do need to do something with that, I believe. With this selected, please. Because somewhere in here is where we play that sequence. Fuck if I know where though. Begin play, maybe event has happened. Get event happened, cutscene. False. There we go. That's the one that I wanted. This needs to be in the proper level though. No, not delete. Enter is how that works, right? Oh, no, not quite. So yeah, that's where we play this. And now we try it first with that other cinematic node. Yeah, so that only stops movement. Just like the... at least it's doing that now. But that only seems to stop movement. And it's kind of annoying that when it says hide HUD, it doesn't mean hide every widget related to this, I believe. What it means is, well, actually it says something like that, right? Specify true if we should hide HUDs to match the value of B cinematic mode. It's very specifically like talking about like slate HUDs, which are at this point just like deprecated effectively. But we can enable input here again at the end, and just use disable and enable input, and then like the HUD thing will... We'll figure out at some point how to automate that. Again, I think if I just make a chart of it in C++, it might not be... Still... What the fuck? Okay, so it just doesn't disable the input. Still. I'm gonna Google this. Unreal sequencer... event not disabling. Let me just try real quick if I don't re-enable input. Because it somehow might be doing some fucky stuff where it also runs the other event or something weird. Nope, that's not it. It's weird because I do use disable inputs in other scenarios. Might be that you somehow have two-player controllers. That's just not how that works. Like, it could be that I'm playing as a different player character, theoretically. That might be why. That player character didn't work before either, so that's kind of fucked. But like, there should be no way to accidentally have two-player controllers. So yeah, I still can do this, and now it's not even erroring me out on the player controller thing. Or the player character thing. So now I'm like super confused. Can do that. That's not a bad idea. Nope. I'm just gonna add back in the print string for disable input just to make sure that this is like still running at this point. Should be. Yeah, it should be. Disable input. Well, funny you should fucking mention that. Do we have like a is input? I was gonna say, do we have like a bool on that or something that we can check? But no. Set input mode and make it switch. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Just setting it to UI only for a while. That is such a hacky way, but this might work. Because it's definitely not gonna... Yeah. That's really hacky, but that's not a bad idea. Yeah, that works. It doesn't even send an error anymore. It sent an error once. And now it doesn't. But it just straight up doesn't disable the input. Which is weird, because in other moments in the game, I do very much disable the input. And it works flawlessly. So I don't know what specifically is causing this to be an issue, but like fucking this works, so... I guess there we go. This is the hackiest fucking weird ass way to do this that I can ever think of, but it works. Oh, when you do that though, you do need to flush inputs. Otherwise she's gonna keep running. No, but we don't get an error from get player character, and the character is definitely created because it is the same character throughout the entire game. Like, every single level is a streaming level. So the character gets created, like, I can show you. The character is created, like, right now. Like, this is the character. Like, it is physically here. So that I can do, like, stuff with it and reference it before, like, the actual, like, gameplay starts. I don't even use a spawn player character or whatever. It's just, I have this character, and it gets possessed. That's the way that I start my game up. And then from there, it is this, like, physically this actor that it gets moved from room to room between these streaming levels. So this actor 100% exists, and it is 100% like possessed. So the one time we had a error with the can't find player character thing was an outlier and not the actual issue. Like, that happened one time. And after that, it didn't happen again, but the issue persisted. So those two things are not related. And he's still walking into the back. Okay, so that doesn't quite work. So this is not actually a great solution. Seems like playing a level sequence animation enables input, because disabling input before or the same frame it starts the animation. This allows me to control the character. Very weird. But disabling it for one tick after starting the animation. But this is... Oh, man. Well, that's actually not a bad idea. If we just do this. Again, it's a horrendous way to do this, I'm sure. But at this point, I just want this to work, man. I can't attack. And it seems like the character isn't walking all over the place. There's definitely some weird twitches, but I can live with that. Yeah, this is a highly cursed way to disable your input. But it fucking seems to work, so that's the only thing that I really care about. And then it immediately decides to take a fucking break. What the hell is up with your AI, dude? fuck did you do? What the hell is wrong with you? How did that suddenly change? I didn't touch fucking anything to do with that. What the hell? I am so confused. Okay. Let's see what the AI for this dude does on my second monitor. What? It's actually kind of nice because I can't even like lock onto him anymore. It's just not running one of the services anymore. What the fuck? It's just not updating boss info anymore. What the... How? Why did you just stop doing that? I didn't change anything about him. But if we, like, if I just put this side by side, right? I wish I could just, like, put this docked here, but you can't because it's a separate, like, workspace. And not just a dockable thing. But if I just put this here, right? And we disable this real quick, you'll be able to see the stats that display there when he actually, like, spawns in. Now everything is hooked back up. It's just not updating a handful of the stats, which it should update. Like this service right there should update some things, but you will see that it doesn't do that. So it is like these things over here. That's the wrong thing. Like these things over here are some stats that are getting set by that's I'm getting better at using this tool. Are getting set by this thing up here, right? So if it is health under 101, I should probably like tune this so that it's a little bit more user friendly. Its state duration timer is 20 seconds. Its passive time is 8 seconds, and it's currently in like phase 1. That's what its values are getting set to. Except none of these values are getting set at all, meaning that this service just isn't running. And it even says, if we like zoom into it, you can even see without me doing anything weird, it ticks every 0.4 to point something seconds. So what's up? Cinematic mode, but the cinematic mode is on the player controller. This AI tree shouldn't be affected by changing something about the player controller. That makes no fucking sense. I mean, I'll go back into like the asset and get rid of them to see if that changed it, but I feel like that cannot be related. Like even if I just entirely disconnect this, I'm sure that it's going to remain the same. I can attack again. Yes, I can. Look, if this actually makes the AI work again, I have no idea even what Unreal Engine is anymore. Yeah, see? It's not related. Something entirely separate from that. It's literally just Unreal telling me to go fuck myself. Because we didn't touch this. It takes every 0.4 to 0.6 seconds. We've had this issue before where putting two services... I bet you if I remove this, it's gonna cause other issues. But we've had the issue before where two services like on the same selector do weird stuff. That might be happening again. I'd kind of hope that they had fixed that. But I bet that's what's happening. Or did I just somehow like unselect the keys corresponding to them? Because that might, well, that is something worth checking. It's also a good idea to check if it is an engine restart related issue. It's still not updating. Do I have... It does have the proper keys in place. So yeah, we're going to do a quick little one of these. It feels like it is just the engine fucking with me. Right? It has to be. Let's try again. Do you even? Do you even? What the fuck? Okay, that didn't fix it. Oh, it might have been the... Hold on. Did I... Okay, so no, that is my bad. I removed these logs. And I accidentally also removed the boss info update and the update state in the C++ file. And then I recompiled, so it made those changes. That's my bad. We did this like an hour ago. Because I wanted to get rid of those logs. Because they're going to bog down the actual output logs for when I have people like crash the game and stuff. So I don't want to have to like sort through all that. But I accidentally also got rid of 2 actual functions. So sometimes it is my fault. Usually it is. Except for me. But that time it might have been on me. Might have been my bad. Okay. I swear to God, if we now go into this and he still does it, I'm going to jump out my window. And I really hope he doesn't, because I live on the 3rd story of a building. So I'd really rather not jump out my window. Thank goodness. So yeah, it does do something weird where it doesn't properly flush the input still of the sequence. But that... I think that's an easy fix. I think that's just getting the character movement component and telling it to stop moving. Because that should set its like input value to 0. So if we just get character movement component and we say stop movement immediately. That should solve that. Hands off the controller just to see how it does, because it's probably still going to do the same thing with the camera. No, but it does do it with the movement. Do I need to flush input here as well? Well, that clearly didn't fucking work, so get rid of that. I think this might need to have flush input as well. I always get mixed up with what flush input, like how it like actually functions. So do you guys still like this cutscene? Because I remember when playtesting this before, everybody was like, oh cool, like little boss intro cinematic. Do you guys still like it? Do you? Because you shouldn't. Yeah, so that does the thing. Okay. I want to do one more thing, and that is get lock on widget. Set hidden in game. Now that we have all this anyway, this probably should just be a macro that I can call, to be honest with you. Not a bad idea. New hidden here, and then we can also just like get HUD. Can we just like set that as hidden as well? No, that's a scene component. So we remove from parents. Just now that we're doing stuff with this anyway. Yeah, that's better. So now we don't have the HUD, and we don't have the little like target reticle. So now it actually feels like there's a cinematic playing. Don't mind that little twitch thing happening there. And then as the cinematic comes to an end, both the HUD and the targeting widget should pop back onto screen. There we go. Which also immediately informs the player that, hey, you are back in action now. I think you should make the cutscene going a little longer, maybe twice as long. Hell the fuck no. Okay. All that works. Effectively, let's just murder him one more time. And I think that is a good wrapping up point for today. That's the wrong save file. I really should just make a back to menu kind of thing instead of having to do this every single time, but let's beat his ass one more time, and then I guess we're not testing the purple dungeon anymore. but I'm sure that that's all fine, right? We don't need to go on and test that even more. We tested plenty of that last time. And a lot of these things that we tested here were issues that I was aware of already, to be fair. But they just finally got fixed. There's a flip and plugin that adds all UI. Yeah, I know there is, but it's like too expensive for how simple it is. Like what it does is so easy. To the point that I'm like, man, I think it's like €50 or something like that, from what I remember. I'm not paying that. I will just make this a macro and call it an event every time I play a cutscene. Because that thing is effectively just the same thing. Instead of having it on an event track, it's just on a fancy track of its own, but like that's effectively still what it does. From like a workflow perspective, I understand that it does a little bit more because it just stops drawing all widgets on like your viewport, which is a little bit more like involved than just keeping a reference and this everything. But if I make this a macro, I effectively still have the same thing. I just wish that you could make like pre-existing events that you can like re-add or something like that. That would be neat. It's like $5. Oh, so we are talking about different plugins then. Like why the hell doesn't Unreal have that? Why doesn't it have something that just disables your input altogether? Why only for movement and camera movement? Why doesn't Unreal just have something on the sequence player, like actor, that when it plays, it just disables all player input? When do you have an actual cinematic that you want player input on? You can use sequence for like level animation and stuff like that. I understand that. But if you have an actual cinematic, they have functions for this input and this input to be disabled. Why not just all fucking input? It is stupid. You can make a blueprint function, a library / macro library. I know that, but what I would prefer is, and this is a very small workflow improvement, so it doesn't actually matter. But what I still have to do with that is I still have to go into here, make an event, and I don't have to make an event on the third-person character. I probably can just do it on a separate event track. Go in here and then call that macro from that library, which is just annoying to do, right? What I would prefer is being able to have like a pre-made event that just like has this function tied to it that I can just with 1 or 2 clicks add in the sequencer itself. Because you need an input to skip the cutscene. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That is fair. Except that doesn't need to be an input on, well, that still doesn't need to be an input on the player character, right? So you can still automatically disable input on the player character and just... But I guess the other two are like movement and rotation things are on the controller level where it disables them. So that makes sense, kinda. But I would imagine that the input for skipping the cutscene is handled by a cutscene related actor, not by... You might handle that in the controller, I guess, directly. You could do that. Skip cutscene button would be sweet right now. In the actual game, you don't have this issue. The issue that I have, I can show you actually. The issue that I have is that I keep reloading the same save file. If I trigger this cutscene once and I let him kill me, and I go back in, it skips the cutscene. It does keep track of, hey, have you seen this cutscene yet? If you have seen the cutscene already, it skips it. Which is to exactly avoid this. I don't want people to die to a boss fight and have to sit through this 100 times. But I also feel like you probably should be able to like sit tight for like 20 seconds to look at a little bit of like cinematic flair at the start of the boss fight for the first time, right? Like if you don't have that patience, like go play Candy Crush or something. But if I die now, and there's also a small issue where it doesn't like... Could you just kill me? Anyway, there's also a small issue where when you die, you get sent back to the last checkpoint, but you're still in your knockback animation. So you get sent back to somewhere in the general vicinity of the last checkpoint, which is a little weird. I've tried to fix that. It's kind of a annoying bug. As you can see, like it sent me back here, but I was still in the process of getting knocked back. Should probably just figure something out about that. But now if I go back in, it just starts the boss fight immediately. And it even has my experience drop that I had here, because that's how experience works. So like there's not an actual issue for like real players. I don't know, I like Unreal's input system. I just like don't... are quite lacking when it comes to it. I very much like the enhanced input system aside from that. Consuming input not always working the way you want it to, but easy enough to work around for the most part. Anyway, that's gonna be it for today, I think. I have used up 3 hours of my time and 10 hours of my life force today to fix up some of these like minor tutorial-ish things. So I'm going to probably do another entire playthrough on my own, where I do have a little bit more focus, let's be honest. Like, these are fun to do, these streams, but I do get a lot less work done. So I'll probably do an entire other playthrough, start to end, do another entire round of like notes to see if there's any more issues to solve, and then this weekend hopefully start sending out the playtest on Steam, as well as in the Discord with a invitation link to like the itch.io build. So it's been a good one, and I will see you back next Tuesday when we will probably not be doing any more testing, because you're going to be doing the testing in the meantime. So I think what we're going to do is, I think next Tuesday we might get started, very excited, on the actual blockouts instead of just like general shape layout of this next dungeon that we have here. Or we might get started on the 2 rooms that I still haven't built for the purple dungeon. I just realized there's still 2. Like, there's one room over here that's just an empty box that I want to have. So we might do that. But I don't really feel like getting started on a new character, to be honest with you. Also have, like, over here, there's supposed to be a doorway to something to gather this key, because this key is just kind of hanging out. But that would require, like, an entire like genre shift, as I call them, a little distraction from the main game. And I haven't decided what kind of genres I want and where I want them yet, so I don't really want to do that as well either, because chances are that I'm going to need to make up my mind on that first. So very likely we're going to do like proper blockouts for this area over here instead. And I will try to not get majorly depressed with the fact that this and this area together is 1/3 of the game, which means that I still need to do 2/3 more.